reason. VOR radio.
Yo. Yo. Shrouded Lighthouse, huh? Yo. Shrouded Lighthouse. Yo. Shrouded Lighthouse, huh? Yeah? I'm trying to see where that extra little noise is coming from. Yo. Shrouded Lighthouse. Yo. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. Shrouded Lighthouse, huh? Yeah. Alright, let's get to it. I'm wondering where it's coming from because I can hear it. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. Alright, let's get to it. I don't know what the deal is. I'm wondering where it's coming from. I'm working through it. Testing 1 1 1. Can you hear me? 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Testing 1 1 1 2 2 2. Can you hear me? Testing 1 1 1 2 2 2. Can you hear me? One two one two one two. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing 1 1 1. Can you hear me? There we go. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? There it is. 1 1 1 2 2 2. Can you hear me? Without the noise. Testing 1 1 1 2 2 2. Yeah. So y'all can hear me now. Good. 1 2 1 2. There we go.
VOR radio. Joe Williams is the VOR.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Voice of Reason, VOR Radio.
Turn your life up. VOR radio. Joe Williams is the VOR.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to VOR Radio. I'm Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Voice of Reason. What's cracking with you guys back at Dash Radio? So you know a whole lot has been going on since I was last here at Dash. It's a lot going on. So let me tell you what's been happening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to VOR Radio. I'm Zoe Williams. Let me go over here. Voice of Reason. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Voice of Reason. What's cracking with you guys? Let's just mute that. Sorry. So let's just get right to it. Hit the like button. Come on in here. You can see me live in the studio right now. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. The VOR is live at Dash Radio right now. A lot has been happening. You know, I got a new radio show with Tavis Smiley. The new show that I got with Tavis Smiley is KBLA. The name of the show is called Nova Time. It's a sports show with a friend of mine who used to be here at Dash Radio by the name of Nick Hamilton. And we cover mad topics, crazy topics in sports. So, again, I got 311 shows. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Let everybody know that you guys are watching me right now so we can trend on YouTube. Let's get the followers up. Let's get the shares up. Push it out there right now. For everybody on Dash Radio that's listening to me, let me tell you exactly who I'm speaking with. I'm speaking with none other than my YouTube page. It's close to 70,000 subscribers now, and they're tuned in watching me do this show live. So from time to time, I will be speaking to them. I will be addressing them as we progress through this conversation. So really quickly, let me do it this way. Let me set the mood, let me do it this way. Set the mood with a little vibe, right? We'll set the mood with a vibe. Now, let's just keep it 1,000 here. My work is in relationships, right? And community. And I know that the way people are set up here, everybody got to be perfect. Everybody got to be flawless. And I tend to buck that narrative. How I do it is with tools like this. My new book, The Shrouded Lighthouse, is now available. Go to my website, theshroudedlighthouse.com. How to discover the silver lining in any situation shift. I can go anywhere in this book and I guarantee you there's a jewel. There's a jewel. I can go anywhere. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by his toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. What is this? Page 147. We create standards to stand guard and protect our unhealed wounds when we should be working to shift our perspective. And as a result of this potential shift, we may be able to say elevated things like, all human beings are a work in progress. As Dr. David R. Hawking stated in his book, Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender, the truly humble cannot be humbled. They are immune to humiliation. They have nothing to defend. There is no vulnerability, and therefore the truly humble do not experience critical attacks by others. Instead, a truly humble person sees the critical verbalization by another person as merely a statement of that person's own inner problems. I just randomly found that passage in the book. The book is full of jewels. Get your copy right now. Go to theshroudedlighthouse.com. So, struggling to read with these old prescriptions. I can't see. Where are my red frames? Yo, people are saying they're receiving their book. Good, good, good. If you received your book, all I need you to do is take a picture of it and tag me on Facebook or Instagram. Okay? Tag me on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram handle is at HRH Mr. Zowat. At HRH Mr. Zowat. Tag me. What up, Austin, Texas? I see everybody in the building right now. So let's get to today's topic. Explaining your process. Let me just say this, man. Everybody got their process, right? Everybody is a work in progress. And everybody has a process by which they learn lessons. Ultimately, spiritual development helps you to see things in moments that need your attention, that need your self-correction. So when we start developing a spiritual practice, nature starts telling on you. Right? You start seeing things in nature that reveal jewels to you. Dreams start delivering curriculum, spiritual curriculum to you. Relationships start delivering spiritual curriculum to you. Ultimately, it's very difficult to see a lot of these things when you're not tapped in. And oftentimes people use a spiritual practice or a religious practice to try to quiet their mind. But because many religious organizations and institutions have used fear, guilt, and shame to kind of institutionalize fear, to put fear in a position of authority, to put guilt in a position of authority, many people find it very difficult to find that kind of liberation in a religious construct. This is why many religious institutions have splinter institutions like the Muslims, Islam. They have a more esoteric version of Islam called Sufism. or Sufism. The Christians have mystic Christianity or Gnostic Christianity, right? Because anything that's popular and global tends to be co-opted to some degree. So it institutionalizes the mind, and it makes it very difficult for you to be able to see yourself and work through your process of whatever it is you're going through at the moment. Now, when you're in a relationship with somebody, because they have their own agendas and their own focus and their own process, what tends to happen is people want answers about your process so that they can add those answers to their own agenda and what they would like to do. What decisions they would like to make about you, regarding you. Right? So they'll say, so I need some answers. Or I want to know about this. Or I want to know about that. And what we haven't been taught in our society is this Dr. John Van Neuman's concept of yes, no, and indeterminate. This goes lockstep with what we talked about with, of course, my guy Robert Anton Wilson when he talked about maybe logic. Oftentimes, if you're in the process of something, you don't have an answer for what that person's concern might be. Even if that person's concern may be coming from some of your behaviors, may be coming from some of the decisions you made. So, how many times have you had a conversation with somebody who was looking for an answer that they wanted to hear, and you didn't give them the answer they wanted to hear because what they wanted to hear was part of some assumptions, right? Part of this is what I think it is anyway, and I just want you to, what do they say? Own up to it, take responsibility for it. Well, if I'm in the middle of a process and haven't arrived at a particular understanding, I can't give you the answer that you already have loaded in your mind that will suffice for you. How many times have you given a person an answer and it wasn't the answer that they wanted, and that led to further argumentation, further confusion, further upset? Hey, are y'all listening? I need to see y'all in the chat room. Make your comments known. I will repeat them. You're listening to the Voice of Reason, VOR Radio on Dash Radio. Can I get some feedback? Talk to your brother. Somebody says 70,000 and rising. Yes, indeed, 70,000 and rising. Hit the like button, everybody. Talk to me. Hit the like button. So, when you're in your process, Will Freeman, you might be trying to be funny, right? Will Freeman, you might be trying to be funny, but I haven't said any big words, right? Oftentimes in the chat room, we turn the chat room into the joke room, and that's okay for certain shows. For other shows, it requires attentiveness, focus, clarity of mind. Everything isn't about entertainment. So let me say it again, right? You said, I lost you with the big words. Sorry, sir. No big words used here. Clear English. Sorry, sir. Clear English. And listen, we got to break out of that as a people. White folks don't own knowledge. White folks don't own articulation. White folks don't own linguistics. Oftentimes we will make knowledge, wisdom, diction, understanding a white property. No, it is not. Okay? And if you find yourself getting lost because of the usage of what you call big words, then that means you got to buy a dictionary or a thesaurus. That means you got to start doing word puzzles. That means you have to expand your vocabulary so you can expand your comprehension and thus consciousness. Because imagine how much you're missing because you didn't understand a word. So when you read a book, and in the book, you come upon a word, right? And you don't understand the word. How often have you seen people, or have you done yourself, just read through it and kept going? No, you come across a word that you don't understand, you stop, you get your dictionary, you get on Google, and you find out the definition of the word that stopped your comprehension. So, no disrespect to the brother, but I wanted to address that. Listen, I'm on page 140. Ooh, Lord, Lord, Lord. So many jewels, man. So many jewels in this book. I don't want to read that about parenting, but so much in this book, The Shrouded Lighthouse. So much we can cover. So many dimes. Is it a dime that they throw in the passing game? Earlier I said, this is Getting to Work, page 132. Earlier I said, and I paraphrase, relationship is a shared experience. But you, as my partner, can't know my direct experience of our shared experience. Oftentimes, there's an attachment to a desire to change each other, or at least change each other's perspective of one another to fit our personal outcomes. Now watch this quote from Krishnamurti to follow that statement I made. Listening is an art which very few of us are capable of. We never actually listen. The word has a sound, and when we do not listen to the sound, we interpret it. Try to translate it into our own particular language or tradition. We never listen acutely. Without any distortion. So the speaker suggests, respectfully, that you so listen and not interpret what he says. Again, how often in relationships do we get caught interpreting what we think situations and circumstances surrounding our partner, their words, their actions, their feeling, and their behaviors mean to us? Right? We're sitting there translating. And translating so it can fit our narrative. And then people wonder why, communication is so difficult in a relationship. Do you allow your partner time to figure out an answer that makes sense for what he's doing or for what she's doing in your relationship? Do you offer your partner space to discover that answer that might make sense to both of your experiences? Wow, did you hear what I just said? See, I can come up with an answer that makes sense to my experience. But can I come up with an answer that makes sense to an experience that I'm not directly experiencing? See, if you look at relationships, look at them as, say, celestial objects. The person is a celestial object, a moon, a planet, a star. And we are affected by each other's gravity. And when we get caught in each other's gravity, we create an orbit around each other. That's a relationship. If something affects one planetary body and it's in close enough proximity to another planetary body, right, it will be affected, right? So, relationships work in much the same way. However, even though I'm in a gravitational well with you, we are caught in each other's gravitational field, within each other's gravitational pull, you can experience what it's like on the surface of my planet, of my moon, of my star. We orbit each other, but your feet, the feet of your soul, has never touched the surface, right? The surface of my soul. Yet our souls interact and recognize one another. This is why scientists have basically given up on English. Why? Because English is symbols. English is just a language of symbols. Language, symbols. A symbol symbolizes something that may not be able to come into full understanding in the form of a word. So like, say, God. Yes, God is a word. It's a German word, good. Right? Yes, that's good. You add another O to God, you get good. This is English, right? But God in the Bible, totally different word, totally different meaning. Does that make sense? So language is a symbol. All right? It's a symbol. And oftentimes in relationships, we expect our partners to read our minds or understand, be like a GPS, right, of our inner terrain. And your partner can't be your GPS for your inner terrain unless you've set up highways and byways in your spirit. Meaning, you've got to be, my uncle is a civil engineer. And he built a freeway in Pasadena. Meaning, he understands the topography of Pasadena. He understood how to add an on-ramp to a pre-existing freeway. He understood what they're saying now, the assignment. Well, if the assignment is you, and you don't understand the total assignment of you, you can't have an expectation of your partner to understand the total assignment of you either. So when you have people say, well, I was talking to a young lady in the cigar lounge the other day, and she was saying, I'm spoiled, and the man got to do everything, and I've never wanted for anything, and those are my standards. And when I started asking difficult questions about herself and how she looked into herself and how she took accountability for actions and behaviors that might make her undateable or unrelatable in relationships, one of the truest things she's ever spoken in her life came out of her mouth, which was, I've never asked myself that. And the way society is set up right now, you don't have to ask yourself if you're cute enough. You don't have to ask yourself if you got enough money. You don't have to ask yourself if you bad, if you a bad, what's the word? Bad bitch. If you a bad bitch. But what's happening is the decision to get serious comes while facing the decline of what made her bad, of what made her super fly back in the day. Now back in the day is a distant memory, and now you're looking for meaning. But can you have meaning if you've never cultivated it from within? Listen, I ain't gonna never come at you and say I'm perfect. I've been on this journey for a long time. And when I talk to adults, they put a time limit on your journey. When your journey over so I can be happy. When your journey complete so I can get what I want. Are y'all listening? When is your journey finished? Right? So we can get down to business of, marking off these holidays and vacations and when is your journey? Your journey is never over. Krishnamurti says education is an eternal process. You are learning all the time. But so many people don't want to learn about themselves. They want to learn about their partner. They don't want to learn about themselves. Are y'all listening? Hit the like button, hit the share button. Let me know you in here. If you've got questions, type it in. We're all still a process, including me. I'm so far from perfect, it's not even funny. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm pushing a narrative that might sound strange to some, right? But a lot of our good brothers have created a culture that says if you stand on something, you're a man. But in a low-key way, what you're saying is men get something to stand on and then they stand on it indefinitely. That infers that we might not be growing as men. Right? A man, a real man, an alpha male, a real man is always learning. See, learning is a part of masculinity. Why? Because masculinity encapsulates the adventure. It is the man who is not afraid. And I'm not saying women aren't afraid to do this either. But this is something that is attributed to masculinity. Adventure. The fearlessness to say, I'm going to go out there and discover. That's part of manhood. So that means knowledge and the acquisition of new knowledge and the development of self is also part of manhood. So if you're acquiring new knowledge, if you're developing a different understanding and different perspectives or multiple perspectives, there's one problem, but there are multiple answers and multiple wrong answers, multiple right answers and wrong answers to that problem. If you're a man and you're trying to discover every right answer and you're trying to mitigate all the wrong answers, that's manhood, right? But what will come with that, somebody used the word wisdom. What will come with that is not reaction, but response. A reaction is athletic. It's quick. It moves fast. I reacted. And I am guilty of being reactional. Right? There have been times in my life I have been reactional, very reactional. But as you grow, as you mature, those reaction times slow down and they become responses. A response is slower because you deliberate, you think, you contemplate, you consider. Now, doesn't relationship thrive when there is mutual consideration? Yes. But is mutual consideration on tap like it's a water faucet? I would say consideration, forgiveness, love, caring, appreciation, all of that stuff is conditional. Q asks a question. How do you know when to stand firm in your principles and when to challenge your principles? There you go. Great question. All principles are flawed. Why do I say that? When I say all principles are flawed, what I'm actually saying is anything that can come in the form of a language is limited. Anything that comes in the form of a language is limited. Why? Because language is basically a metaphor. Language is symbols. That's what language is. So language is trying to paint a picture of a concept for us to understand. So when you say, how do you know when to stand firm? Because it's in alignment with the truth of who you are. Stand firm on the truth of who you are. Now watch the caveat. In that moment. Because if you are a work in progress, the truth of who you are is subject to change based on the expansion of your consciousness, the expansion of your knowledge base. If you're like me and you're reading 2 books a week, I just got 2 more books in the mail, right? If you're like me and you're reading, my perspectives are shifting and expanding and growing, right? So the book gets pressed up and shipped to me. It took a minute for them to get it to me, right? The book gets here on last Tuesday, a week ago. I'm reading through the book, but I have read several books since I finished writing this one. So, and my editors had an issue with me before because they were saying, you keep trying to change stuff as you're supposed to just be proofreading. But you go through and change things as you're reading. No. Expand on that point. No. Expand on this point. No. Add to that. Add to this. Why? Because I'm always learning. Right? I want brothers to understand, I'm not saying don't stand on it. I'm saying understand that what you stand on today can be elevated tomorrow if you're consistently challenging what you think to be truth, what you think to be real, what you think to be the unassailable truth. The only unassailable truth comes from within. Listen. It don't come from a book. Why? Because the book is full of symbols that are painting pictures. Any good book, like this one, will teach you how to become the painter of your own symbols. Right? The painter of your own listen. Here it is right here. Lecture number 14. The self-authorship script. Self-authorship script. See, again, you stand on a principle until that principle has eroded. How do you know the principle has eroded? Listen carefully. You and the principle become non-congruent. Have you ever heard somebody say, I used to think like that, but as I matured, that perspective and idea shifted. I changed my position on that. Does this make sense to anybody? Right? That's how you know when an idea needs to be recontextualized or needs to be challenged, because you and the idea that used to fit you like a brand new Nike Air Max now fits like a bottomless sandal. It's not congruent with who you are currently. Right? But that's part of human nature. We are always looking for an end so we can relax. Listen to me. We are always looking for an end to something so we can relax. We're looking for the end of working. Man, I wish I could just hit it big and then I'd be chilling. Man, I can't wait until I finish school so I can graduate and then go on about what I want to do. Right? Again, we always looking for an end so we can chill. There is no end to the discovery of self-knowledge. Now, if Krishnamurti is correct in his assumption that education never ends, then what are you standing on? And have you explained to your inner self that whatever you're standing on is for the moment? See, let me go back. Do you have an attachment to what you stand on because it's all that you know? See, this is why a lot of people don't want to let go of what they know, because what they know has molded who they think they are. No, what you know is a vehicle to how you grow. Somebody meme it. What you know is merely a vehicle, some tools that need to be applied to how you grow. It's not something you create a codependent relationship with. This is what, man, all I know is I was raised like this, and I was brought up this way, or I was taught this way. Yes, you were taught that way by a person who had a limited toolbox, who was doing the best they could do for you in that moment, in their current moment, right? They taught you with the best they could with what they had. And as me and the Babalao in my spiritual Come to Mises masterclass outlined, their teaching is merely a baton for you to take and finish the race. Are y'all listening? Can I get some feedback? Where y'all at? Y'all hear me? Yes, you do. Listen, this is Zoe Williams on Dash Radio, VOR Radio. Again, I know I'm jumping in, and this is a heavy conversation, but I think we need to talk about it. I believe the best teachers are still learning. I believe the best teachers are still growing. I believe the best teachers are still healing. Right? That's what I believe. Now, other people may believe other things. But I believe the best. Where's that quote? I want y'all to see this quote. Here it is right here. And it's a beautiful quote. And I want to get your opinion, and I want to see what you guys think about it. I thought I had it. Here it is. Hold on. I keep saying here it is, but I ain't got it. There it is. The best teachers are still learning. And the best healers are still healing. See, again, we're caught up in a GMO society. And in this GMO society, they say a particular image, a particular perspective has to be presented in order for it to be credible. Right? There are no complete people on the planet Earth teaching on YouTube. There are no whole people on planet Earth teaching on YouTube. Right? Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? Now, the contradiction of manhood being inflexible because it stands intractably on what it believes, that's not real manhood. Somebody said the mother is the first teacher. That is true, but that does not mean that the man is not a teacher. Because teaching is one of the many ways that black men can and should provide for their women and children. How about that? You think you've done your job because you just paid a bill? Sometimes you got to pay a different kind of bill. The bill your father or your grandfather left unpaid when he didn't talk to you. That's an emotional and spiritual bill that you might have inherited. So you know when you get a home and you ain't got it insured properly, do you know that that debt could fall on your kids if you don't protect the investment so that it transfers over to them without them having to pay it off? Sometimes that happens spiritually. My grandfather raised me this way, and I raised you the way he raised me. Right? Sometimes, guess what you got to do? You've got to pay off that debt. How do you do it? By growing past the limited toolbox that you inherited. Are y'all listening? I'm going to say this to my moderators, man. If anybody's in there on some silliness, because this ain't silly. Moderators in the chat room. On Dash Radio. We listening right now. Dash Radio fam, please understand. My chat room is wild. They be going off. They be doing all types of stuff. But sometimes you got to pay off this spiritual debt by growing or by outgrowing it. Right? Yeah, the likes are looking good. I really appreciate it. How's everybody doing out there? Are y'all following this discussion? Are y'all on deck with me right now? Are y'all listening to this discussion? Is it resonating in your spirit? So back to my initial premise. Sometimes your process, as Dr. Van Neumann said, it was a physicist by the name of Van Neumann. Sometimes, regarding your process, and he was talking about electrons and subatomic particles, but I am associating it with your process. Sometimes your process is not a black and white answer. Yes or no. Sometimes your process is in a space that Dr. Von Neumann called indeterminate. And for many people, born in a transactional, materialistic society, indeterminate is just as good as a no. Why? Because we've been conditioned to pursue instant gratification. I want what I want, and I want it when I want it. Hey, if you haven't gotten your copy now, go to my website, theshroudedlighthouse.com. Please order your copies right now. I'll be going to the post office tomorrow to ship out another mass shipment. Please get my new book, theshroudedlighthouse.com. All right? Holla at your brother. Get there right now. Somebody said the metaverse is taking over. All right, so back to my point. Part of manhood is to give what you have to give. Talking about the spiritual debt. We're talking about Dr. Von Neumann, the indeterminate space during your process. Right? On the one point, when you're in your process, you may not always have a definitive answer to give in a particular moment. Sometimes people leave you over that. Sometimes people stop talking to you because you didn't give them a definitive answer while in your process. In terms of the spiritual debt, when you're talking to a child, sometimes it's your responsibility to overcome how you were raised. Sometimes provision from a father, from a parent to a child also includes the emotional provision that you may not have gotten. Does that make sense? Right? My father was an emotionalist provider. Provided everything I needed. And I'm not talking about me specifically. I'm giving the example. Say your father was an emotionalist provider, gave you everything you needed, but didn't give you nothing emotional. Didn't give you anything spiritual. Didn't give you anything that was contextual to your understanding about who you are. Right? So, sometimes it's up to you to pay off that debt. Yeah, we got a lot of people in here. Hey, we got a lot of people in here right now. Let's get more people. I don't know why YouTube is shadow banning me. They've been shadow banning for almost a year now. Right? Shadow ban. How do you have 70,000 subscribers and only 200 people get in here? That's crazy. What did I do, YouTube? I know I had my good brother, Dr. Phil Valentine, on. Y'all mad at me. But they've been shadow banning for a long time. We normally average around 2,000 people in here. Maybe too much information is too much, right? So I'm going to come back. I am the voice of reason when I am reasonable. And through my process of maturing and growing up, I have not always been reasonable. See, I'm comfortable in my skin speaking my truth about me because no one knows me better than me. Why? Because my feet are on the surface of my planet. Right? The experience that I share with other people, can't fully be shared because no one can have a direct experience of me as me. So, I know what I've been through and I don't have a problem sharing it. Okay? I have struggled. And what was interesting, I had this deep astrology and numerology reading by this Babalao about a month ago. And he was just he recorded it for me and it was really surreal. He said, everything you're doing right now is what you're supposed to be doing. Your whole movement centers on relationships, teaching about relationships. He said, everything you're doing is in alignment. Right? He was like, you're right where you're supposed to be. And he told me all kind of stuff. He told me that there will be, or there have been throughout my life, and this is true, throughout my life. He talked about envious people around me, people who don't understand me, hate on me, all kind of stuff. And he told me, but that's part of your process. That's part of your maturation. That's part of your growth. How you respond or react. Right? And I ain't gonna lie to you, it's been a challenge. But the people that are closest to me, that have the best understanding of me without having their feet on the surface of my experience, will tell you that I've come a long way since I was younger. So I feel like the work that I'm doing is needed and is respected at some point. I mean, there are a few people who respect what I do. There are other people who are confounded and confused about who I am or what I am. And that's okay. Let me give you this other jewel. It's not your responsibility to correct somebody else's perspective of you. I used to believe that it was, which led to major conflict. Y'all hear what I'm saying? It's not your responsibility to check or correct somebody else's perspective of you. They are seeing it from their level of consciousness. They are seeing it from their level of awareness, and also from their level of understanding of themselves. Not your job to say, nah, you got to see it like me. You got to see me how I see me. It's not your job. This is something I've passed on to my son. Not your job, my sons and daughter actually, right? Not your job to grade, evaluate, or check somebody else's experience of you. Somebody experiencing you is like us standing on the surface of planet Earth, looking through a telescope at the moon and saying, this is what the moon is like. Now you can see the moon. You can see the craters. You can map its orbit. You can gauge the strength of its gravitational pull and its gravitational effects on the planet. But you don't know the moon until you own the moon. Do you see? Even though we're in a shared relationship with the moon, how much about the moon do you know? Does that make sense? So again, my friends, relationship works the same way. Not your job to correct the perspective of somebody that's not standing on the surface of your inner being. They are interacting with parts of your conscious and unconscious self. They are exchanging energy with you, but they don't have the direct understanding of what it means to be you while the two of you are in that process. I had to learn that. Now that I understand, I no longer get frustrated with people when they don't see it how I see it. Just remember, they see it the way they see it. And it's okay for them to see it that way. Now the next step, which is a difficult step for me as well, is being able to listen to what I feel. Being able to listen without judgment, without evaluating, right? listening to someone who has a perspective about you, and we talk about people that you're in a relationship with, they got a perspective about you, but they don't have that direct experience that makes you you. Your experience of you. They don't have that. Now, how do you listen to someone that doesn't have that? Without judgment, without condemnation, without disrespect, without vitriol. How do you do that? First off, you set the caveat. This is their perspective. This is their opinion of me. This is what I look like to them. Now watch what happens. If they haven't done any significant internal work, if they haven't gone to war with themselves over and over and over again, and this is in general, please understand this is in general. If they haven't done any significant internal work, how they view you gets filtered through what's undone in them. What's left undone, what work they didn't complete is filtering. That's how they're viewing you. Their view of you is filtered through that. Can you say distortion? Can you say warped perspective? Are y'all listening? Man, the voice of reason is crazy today. The voice of reason is bananas today. Hey, Britt Atwater, what up, what up, what up? Are y'all listening? This is why so many people be like, yo, holla at me or get at Kevin Samuels and whoop whoop. I'm saying, no, that brother is on a roll. Let that brother do what he's doing. That's necessary. His perspective is valuable and necessary. Why? Why is it? Listen, because he's talking about transactionalism in a transactional, materialistic, society. The way that society is set up is transactional, it's materialistic, it's outcome driven. And if it's outcome driven and it's materialistic and it's transactional, of course it's superficial. Which makes sense to evaluate the aesthetics of the woman. Listen now, you got bread. You don't have to be cute. Jay-Z said it. What he said, I'm a billionaire. I'm cute. A billionaire can't be ugly. I'm cute is the lyric. That's what he said from the male side. From the female side, I don't have to do self-work. I don't have to be a nurturer. I'm a baddie. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mama. You need to have your shit together. Are y'all listening? Baddies tend to be problematic because they don't have to be rooted. Because they got so many options. And the options that they have are the dudes who hold what is called the great equalizer in relationship. And that is his wallet. The wallet is the new gun. If I got a wallet full of bread, I can have the baddest chicks. 50 said it. He said, don't pay attention to the women. Go after the hustle, your grind. The women come with your hustle. Listen, man, that means we live in a passive-aggressive prostitution kind of environment, consciousness level, for our relationships. That's just what that means. It's okay. You can have the baddest if you've got the fattest wallet. But the spiritual work that is inherent in relationship, the 444 album. The spiritual work that's inherent in relationship shows up immediately. Sure, it's cool to be on the 17th floor at the Wynn Hotel, or at the Ritz Carlton. Sure, all that's beautiful, but it get old. Doo-doo still stinks in a toilet in a skyscraper. So doo-doo's still there. Trash bags still need to be put in the trash can. Do you understand? Even at the highest level, there is still a level of mundanity. So now what's happening? The work starts to rise to the surface. Conflict starts to rise to the surface. Now there are opportunities to say, why him? Why her? Huh? Why him? Why her? At this moment in my life. What purpose do they bring? What are they here to teach me? Why are they here? How did I magnetize them? How is the limited toolbox that I inherited from my parents positively or negatively affecting this relationship? See, that's when that starts popping in. That's why I said what the brother is saying is good stuff, because he's lining up what the problem is. To me, the problem is transactionalism, materialism, superficiality. It was an economist who created the concept of equity theory. Equity theory. If I bring the milk and the cereal, you bring the bowl and the spoon. Equity. What are you bringing to the table? An economist created equity theory. And then it was later adopted and co-opted into relationships. It has to be in a capitalist, materialistic, superficial society. I've gotten to this level in society. What makes you think you deserve to be with me? Spirituality becomes some conspiracy theory. Spirituality becomes some nebulous, unattainable, weird talk. But that is the purpose. When I look back and see what my spiritual practice has shown me in just the last 3 years, shit that I never paid attention to be clear as hell. Why did this person do that at this particular moment? Why was this revealed in this particular moment at this opportune time? How did all of this connect the way? Listen, relationship is a spiritual classroom where the work you've left undone gets magnetized into your life via your partner. Nobody's talking about this part because this is an intractable, intangible, nebulous part. Why? I gave examples. The world is quantized. Reality is quantized. Our thoughts are quantized, fragmented. Fragmentation is the term that Dr. David Baum and Jiddu Krishnamurti used in the book, The Ending of Time. Fragmentation, psychological fragmentation. Something happened back when. Back when is an illusion, but because you carry the memory, which is knowledge of what happened to you, that fragments the now. So now I have to listen with the filter of the past, which fragments the newness of the moment. Are y'all listening? Fragments the newness of the moment. Right? contaminates it, covers my ears so that whatever I hear gets translated through that past moment. And then this is how I perceive my partner. And then I begin to move accordingly. Are y'all listening? I'm going to get out of here if I don't see any more responses. I need to see the responses or I'm leaving. You're listening to VOR Radio on Dash Radio right now. Zoe Williams is on fire. We talking some real relationship stuff. Right now I'm going over the Kevin Samuels phenomenon. Like I said, I think the brother is necessary. I think he's needed because he has laid down an articulate format, in my opinion. An articulate construct that shows the depth of the depravity, the depth of the toxicity, the depth of the superficiality, the depth of the robotic, autocratic responses to society's social game rules for relationships. Right? He has shown us, right, in an indirect way, if you got money, you get the baddest chicks. Well, my brother Too Short came out and said, for him, the baddest chicks are biracial, light skin. Huh? So what does that do? It opens up a can of worms about what? Opens up a can of worms about beauty standards. Where are beauty standards from? If you're a broken people who have been used, marginalized, abused, disrespected by the same people that sign your check, of course you're not going to feel beautiful to them. Huh? Of course. You're going to try to look like them. Of course. You're going to incorporate what they say is symmetrical. You know, your face is round. It's not symmetrical. Well, I'm aboriginal to the planet. The entire planet. I'm not African or South American. I'm an earthling. Y'all better listen to me now. I'm the whole thing. Every part of it started with me. I'm an earthling. Well, if you go back into Genesis in the Bible, Adam and Eve, it tells you that Adam was both their names. Well, in Hebrew, the word is Adamah, and Adamah means of the ground or earthlings. Them folk was black. But again, Kevin Samuels he's laying it out for you to see. Right? He's laying it out for you to see. Oh, well, she got to have good hair because I want to be able, my baby got to have good hair. So I got to mess with a European or somebody light-skinned. Well, you know, I love green eyes, or, you know, because she had green eyes, she was extra fine. She was super fine, right? Wait a minute. You know what? You beautiful for a dark girl. Do you see all of this? Listen, the standards that are in place about money are also the standards that are in place about, right, beauty. Why do you say that, Zoe? Is that a false narrative? Right? Is that a false analogy? No. Because there's a time, and even now, black dollars ain't welcome at certain places. Before, it was blatant. Now it's subtle. Before, you couldn't just move into Bel Air or Beverly Hills with black dollars. You said, no, your money no good here. There was a time racism was a part of the money, and it's still a part of the money. Look at what YouTube is doing. YouTube accidentally made millionaires. He said, wait a minute. We can't have anybody talking. We got to be able to filter out who we don't agree with and what messages we're not in alignment with. Colorism starts to manifest in some of Brother Kevin Samuels' teachings, and I love it. Now, I don't know if that's his purpose or not, but that's what's coming out. You're starting to see what the criteria is. Right? She can't be dark. It's weird. She can't be an original earthling. Don't say Africa. Because people say, no, we're not Africans. We were already here in America. Okay, fine. Don't say that. Earthling. That's what we are. Earthlings. The original earthlings. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The original earthlings. The black folk that started every major civilization on planet Earth. Do you understand? That's who we are. But in his society that says, you're not black if you don't vote for me. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. And then once you vote for him and put the brother Biden in office, he ignores you. See, there's racism in the money, there's racism in the system, and there's racism in the relationship. The racism that manifests in our relationships manifests as self-hate. She too dark. Right? Or the reverse. I'm too light, so I need a dark person. Listen to me. Is any of this resonating? You asked for reparations. He said it's impossible. We can't just have money out of thin air. We can't just pull. You know how much money we owe y'all trillions. And then the immigrants that Trump left stranded at the border because of his wall, those families are going to get $400,000, $450,000 a piece. So, this is the society you live in. So you mean to tell me we live in a wild, crazy ass society like this, and our relationships are supposed to be sane? No, they're not going to be sane. Whoever is the most effective taker, whoever is the most effective user and abuser will win in this society. That's how it's designed. And anybody who has used and abused, right, and taken advantage of the society and disrespected it in a certain way, they get made an example of. It's kind of like the Sith in in Star Wars. The Sith in Star Wars works like this. It's called the Rule of Two, and that was established by Darth Plagueis, I believe, in the Disney canon. Darth Plagueis established the Rule of Two, and what that meant was, before you had one Sith ruler, an emperor, and he ruled everything with an iron fist. And they said, well, no, we can't do that no more. That system broke down. So they said the Rule of Two. And they said, this is how it's going to work. The ruler is going to bring in an apprentice and teach the apprentice. But the problem with that was the apprentice always killed the teacher. Right? So Darth Plagueis got Senator Palpatine and saw that he was strong in the Force and raised him as a Sith. And then eventually, it was Darth Bane, thank you, who created the Rule of Two. Thank you, A. Britt Atwater. I appreciate that correction. Thank you. It was Darth Bane established the Rule of Two. But every time you raise up an apprentice, they try to kill you. Well, that's how America works. They rose up Darth Trump, and then they tried to kill him. He wasn't no good for nobody, but they tried to kill him. And now what are they doing? They rose up Darth Biden. And now they're trying to crucify him. Lowest approval rates. His VP is basically AWOL. Ain't nobody hurt. We live in a toxic society. I've been saying it for years. Quoting J. Krishnamurti, it is no measure of health to be fully integrated into a sick society. The rule of two. We're going to raise the people and put them in front of you and we're going to parade them around like they're the answer and the hero of your life politically. And then what we're going to do? We're going to cut them down. They did it to Obama. They did it to Clinton. They did it to Bush. Everybody got cut down. The rule of two. Sith Lords in a toxic society. And this is where we're getting our relationship talking points. I don't have to be articulate. I don't have to be smart. I don't have to be intelligent. I don't have to be nuanced in my perspective. I don't have to be a balanced being. I don't have to be any of these things. If I got money, I've got resources. If I've got money, I've got play. And then you get these people get on the internet and then they talk from a toxic perspective because inner work never entered their mind. Them being the problem for their relationship or them being the answer for their generational curses through relationships has never entered their mind. So what does that mean? Everybody's at fault but you. You just a passenger in the accident that is your relationships. No, sir. No, sir. You in one of those training cars that got 2 steering wheels. And you are a co-creator of the calamity that you don't take responsibility for. Now, I've been taking responsibility and I've been fucking up and I'll be saying it, but nobody believes me until I act out. Until something happened, they go, damn, the motherfucker did say he was flawed. The motherfucker did say there's something wrong with him. But you got to see it in order to believe it. And because seeing it is part of your entertainment. Are y'all listening? Because listen, in a world of toxicity, in a world of sickness, depravity, scarcity, and lack, right? What else is there to do but come and be entertained? I'll wait. What else is there to do but nut and be entertained? Huh? Well, shit, if I'm going to be here, at least I need to laugh. If I'm going to be here, at least I need to become a fucking master Jedi at passing the time. Ah, man. And I hear you, Nikki Tyson, but this is not a gym. This is not gyms to most people. Gyms are things they can show off. You can't really show off spirituality. Spirituality tells you to sit down and shut up. Go in. So people will spend on something that is external that they can show off. But you can't, you better show in. Show in. Show up internally. No. That's too hard to do, and it's too hard to show off. Are y'all listening? It's too hard to show off the work you've done internally. I'm finna get out of here if I don't hear from y'all. I need to hear from y'all. I need to see y'all in here. Anybody that has hit the super chat, I appreciate it. This channel subsists on your support. If you feel like what I had to say today has valid or is merit, has merit, is valid, is useful, is purposeful, fine. You are the co-creator of the calamity that you don't take responsibility for. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I want everybody. We need 20 orders of this book because I'm going to the post office tomorrow. It's almost 300 people in here. Can I get 20 people to order their copy of The Shrouded Lighthouse? Please go to theshroudedlighthouse.com. I want to get 20 orders today. Can we do that? I hope y'all really listening. I hope you guys are resonating with what I'm saying. We want to show out, but you really need to show up internally. Show up internally. Defeat yourself. Defeat everything in your character that holds you back. Listen, I'm in the never-ending process of my own battle. And what am I doing? I'm sharing what I'm learning as I'm going through my own battle. Yes, I will sign it for you. Yes, I will sign the book for you. Can we get 20 people to do it though? Right now, 20 people. Go to theshroudedlighthouse.com. Don't talk about it, be about it. Right? Foster care. Projects. Abject poverty. These are just a few of the cornerstones in my life. The most solid relationships I had in my early foundational upbringing was with my foster parents, James and Mary Bynum, out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And they had 50 other kids that they had been foster parents to. Me and my brother. Those were our most healthy parental relationships. But out of the kindness of Mary Bynum's heart, she met with my mother and said, I gotta fight this system to get your children back to you. And when that happened, we left the suburbs of Chattanooga. My foster father, James, was a carpenter and upholsterer. He would reupholster people's couches. He made a good living. We had to leave there and go back to the projects. Mary and James had us for 5 years. My brother was 1. I think I was 10 months. We didn't get back to 6 and 5 years old. We had to relearn who our real mother was. Do you understand? I done been through it. Navigated the gangs in Pasadena. Never became a gang member, but knew people on both sides of it. When I was raised in the 80s as a kid in Pasadena, Pasadena was 48% black. You had a whole world of people coming out of Pasadena. Black royalty. Hell, Jaleel White, the guy who played Urkel, was from Pasadena, went to school at Marshall. Tamala Jones went to school at Marshall. John Marshall, Chad Brown, Ricky Irvins. So many people came out of Pasadena. Stacey Augman. Right? Jock Vaughn. Jackie Robinson. Octavia Butler. Inger Miller. So many people have come out of Pasadena. And I had to navigate the streets to stay out of the gang situations because they existed there. If you haven't been on the surface of my planet, you don't understand my process. And it's not your job to understand my process, just like it's not my job to correct your misinterpretation of who you think I am. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I don't know how this sit with you. I don't know how this resonates with you. And this is not to be said to make you feel any way about me or any differently. It don't matter. This is me saying the dude you looking at is a work in progress that has been going on since he was born. I got to hook y'all up with the brother who did my reading. My numerology and astrology reading. He broke down every single year of my life. He said, what happened right here in your early years from 1 to 5? I said, well, goddamn, that's... we got taken from our mother and sent into foster care. He said, this is part of your story, and this is why you're doing what you're doing today. So this was supposed to happen. I said, oh, man. I said, come on, bro. What happened when you turned 34? I said, oh, shit. And then again, when you turned 40, right here. I said, come on, man. My job is to share with you my process so you can understand that you're going to be all right tackling yourself. You're going to be all right confronting yourself. You're going to be okay at war with you. You're going to be okay. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody that has hit the super chat. You guys got the super chat popping, and I appreciate it. Like I said, this channel subsists off of you guys. You guys help me do this. I just bought an iRig today. I needed a new one, but I'm still not getting the audio through the board in here, and I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm a little disappointed. We got a new Mevo, we got a new iRig. Maybe I got to go get a new phone. I don't know. But I want the audio to come through the board so you can hear the music, so you guys can hear everything. And pretty soon, I was told that Dash is going to get the phone lines back up so I can interact with you guys over the phone. But I'm just here to say, man, we need each other so we can see inside ourselves. Listen, we need each other so we can see inside ourselves. Can you imagine a home with no mirrors? We need to be able to use our relationships as mirrors so we can see inside the home that is ourselves. Somebody said, go get a geek. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. But I'm going to say this. Don't miss Saturday. KBLA 1580. Tavis Smiley's new network, KBLA 1580. Zoe Williams has a new sports show. The sports show is called Nova Time with Zoe Williams and Nick Hamilton. The phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. That's 1-800-920-1580. We're going to be talking sports. I want to hear from you guys. I want to get your opinion. Because you know I'm going to take it to a philosophical level, a spiritual level, a psychological level. We're going to do some cold things on this show. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to crack my book open. Listen, anybody that's gotten the book, you know what you got to do. Take a picture of yourself and tag me in it. Take a picture of yourself and tag me in it. Right? On Instagram at HRH Mr. Zo what? HRH MRZO WHAT. That's right. Zo what? At HRH Mr. Zo what? That's right. Only 2,000 copies of The Shrouded Lighthouse has been printed up. I need 20 people to commit to it right now. Go to my website, theshroudedlighthouse.com, and order your copy right now. I'm going to the post office tomorrow. I'm shipping stuff out tomorrow. Do it right now. Order your copy right now. I want to see 20 copies. Can we do that? Out of the 300 people in here, let's get 20 of y'all to go do it. And anybody that has done it, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, 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 thank you. Listen, this has been the VOR, Zo Williams, Voice of Reason on Dash Radio. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Zo Williams, and I'm out.